on your point about media, accessing the media. And for the major percentage of the U.S. population, they're not going to travel abroad, either for financial reasons or lack of interest. But I feel that our media is so America-centric that even the folks who are not going to be traveling abroad have so little exposure to what's happening in the rest of the world. And they are also not people who are even searching out the websites.
Right.
Is there any kind of movement afoot to try and influence the major media outlets, the 7 o'clock news, the major newspapers, so that they actually focus more on international issues?
Very good question and a very legitimate concern, one that we definitely share with you. We have had discussions with a number of media outlets about the issue. Time Warner is another company that's on our board. Part of the problem is precisely the distribution channels for media. So you say, the type of people you're concerned about are not going to go online to search out information, and that's true. The people who do go online, almost by definition, are the ones who are more internationally engaged. And so sort of the channel kind of reinforces the predisposition, or the other way around. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, many of the traditional news media have had to chop their foreign coverage dramatically, if not eliminate it entirely. The number of newspapers with foreign bureaus now has shrunk to just a handful, whereas it used to be major papers in the major cities of every state would pretty much have someone somewhere around the world. So it is an issue. Part of the problem also is the fragmentation of the media landscape. And so, this is nothing that was not expected, or it's not an unexpected development. But what that does is, you get your 1% media brand. So if you're interested in something, you can find that one channel that's going to address that very specifically and not bring in any outside, quote, noise that are not related to your interests. And what that does do is filter out news that you would not normally seek out, because it's just not going to be there anymore. So it is a conundrum. It's a very difficult challenge. It's in part of demand. It's as much demand related as it is supply related. And so our view is that really what you have to do is influence young people early on and get them interested in the world at large, make them understand that these global trends are going to be part of their future, and hopefully get their curiosity lifted to go out and explore the channels that will have that kind of information on them. But I don't think, frankly, there is or will really ever be a mass market solution to the problem just identified. Yes?
I have a chart with the attitudes of various countries or America. And that was very interesting, I thought. I wonder if you have a parallel chart of American attitudes towards those countries. Because if you're going to have diplomats out there, they have to work on the American side as well.
Right. That's a very good point. And yes, there is information about that. And it would generally follow patterns you might expect, with American attitudes towards our traditional allies in Western Europe being quite favorable, American attitudes towards folks in Islamic cultures in the Middle East being most unfavorable, concerns about China being kind of mixed, a lot of admiration, a lot of worry there as well. So that information does exist. Whether it's really successfully deployed by our ambassadors or not is another question. Yes, sir.
Tom, this is more a question about your organization and how you can maybe help business. So I'd like to give you just a specific issue and see if this is something you can help with.
Okay.
You talk about tourism, and the importance of tourism to us is obviously very important here in my industry. Canadians are very important, but it's very difficult to get an airline from Canada to come into Burlington. Now, if they could come into Burlington and pick up and fly to Boston, Porter Air would probably consider it. But the cabotage laws in the United States don't permit that. And it may not just be a Vermont issue, it may be a broader issue in the United States. And is this the type of issue that you could help with? Because it's not important enough to get on the the radar screen of most people, but it could be very significant for a number of markets in the U.S.
It's certainly something we'd be more than willing to talk to you about. American Airlines is on our board as well, and they're dealing with similar types of issues in Europe, for instance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, sort of the regulation of the skies is an issue that's fraught with ramifications all over the world, I would say. I mean, our perspective is to let the Canadian airline into Burlington because it's going to be serving a market better that's not being well served right now. And not just the Burlington market, but undoubtedly the Canadians would like to come here in an easy manner. So again, in the spirit of more mobility is a good thing, this is something that we would be inclined to support, and certainly worth talking about.
So I'm going to just step, we are a little after 1:30. I told Tom that we would give folks a gracious opportunity to leave if you're on schedule, but he's also agreed to stay with us for a while longer. So if you have something on your calendar, feel free to get up, but Tom's going to continue to take questions for us. Yes, sir.
This is not a question, it's a suggestion. You may want to consider incorporating in your talk an issue that has a very, very great impact on American business and on the American economy. The whole manner in which we're used and not used correctly, the special visa business that has been so very, very important in the past to help our nation and our American businesses, and how we're starting to lose sight of that.
Very, very good point. Are you talking about any particular visa classifications?
The great impact of foreigners on the growth of American technology,
Right.
and how we brought them here for under special visa conditions to work with American companies.
Right.
And over time, historically, many of them have ended up living in America,
Right.
and have made a huge impact
Right.
in the technology area, for example, in pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
in medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and this is a great concern to, again, many of our board members, Google and Microsoft in particular, about bringing these talented people in who will make, they're not stealing jobs, in our opinion, from Americans, they're making dramatic contributions, to the American economy. Some people have gone so far to say that every foreign student who completes a degree in higher education in this country should get a green card stapled to their diploma. And just say, okay, you're welcome. You did your higher education here. If you'd like to stay, we'd love to have you because you're going to make a great contribution to our country. We would definitely agree with you. Thank you. Any other questions? Or no? Thanks very much.